Hi, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Barron. So today I'm reading you a story called All the Places to Love. I chose to read this story to you today because this week you're going to be working in your writing notebooks on your own at home, writing stories. Sometimes we get ideas from the list that we've created at the front of our notebooks, but sometimes it's hard to kind of come up with one from there. We're just not feeling those topics. So you can go to your ideas in your notebooks, but you can also go to stories, okay, and get ideas from there. And this is where I thought would be a great place to write a story if you had a place that you love that you could write kind of some really descriptive details about. So this story is called All the Places to Love, and it's going to kind of describe to you all the characters in the story, their places to love. And you're going to see that some of the stuff may seem familiar to you because maybe Patricia MacLachlan, maybe she wrote it about our area. It seems pretty close geography-wise. Okay? All right. So pay attention to these descriptive details about the places that all the characters love. On the day I was born, my grandmother wrapped me in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep. She held me up in the open window so that what I heard first was the wind. What I saw first were all the places to love. The valley, the river falling down over rocks, the hilltop where the blueberries grew. My grandfather was painting the barn, and when he saw me, he cried. He carved my name Eli on a rafter beside his name, and grandmother's name, and the names of my papa and mama. Mama carried me on her shoulders before I could walk, through the meadows and hayfields. The cows watched us, and the sheep scattered. The dogs ran ahead, looking back with sly smiles. When the grass was high, only their tails showed. When I was older, Papa and I plowed the fields. Where else is soil so sweet, he said. Once Papa and I lay down in the field, holding hands, and the birds surrounded us. Black grackles, red wings, crows in the dirt that swaggered like pirates. When we left, Papa put a handful of dirt in his pocket. I did too. My grandmother loved the river best of all the places to love. That sound like a whisper, she said, gathering in pools where trout flashed like jewels in the sunlight. Grandmother sailed little bark boats downriver to me with messages. I love you, Eli, one said. We jumped from rock to rock to rock, across the river to where the woods began, where bunchberry grew under the pine needle path and trillium bloomed. Under the beech tree was a soft, rounded bed where a deer had slept. The bed was warm when I touched it. When spring rains came and the meadow turned to marsh, cattails stood like guards and killdeers called. Ducks nestled by marsh marigolds, and the old turtle, his shell all worn, no matter how slow, still surprised me. Sometimes we'd climb to the place Mama loved best, with our blueberry buckets and a chair for my grandmother, to the blueberry barren where no trees grew, the sky an arm's length away, where marsh hawks skimmed over the land, and bears came to eat fruit, and the wild turkeys left footprints for us to find, like messages. Where else, said Mama, can I see the sunrise on one side and the sunset on the other? My grandfather's barn is sweet-smelling and dark and cool. Leather harnesses hang like paintings against old wood, and hay dust floats like gold in the air. Grandfather once lived in the city, and he once lived by the sea, but the barn is the place he loves most. Where else, he says, can the soft sound of cows chewing make all the difference in the world? Today we wait, him sitting on a wooden slat chair and me on the hay, until much later my grandmother holds up a small bundle in the open window, wrapped in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep, and my grandfather cries. Together we carved the name Sylvie in the rafter, beside the names of grandfather and grandmother and my mama and papa and me. My sister is born. Someday I might live in the city. Someday I might live by the sea. But soon I will carry Sylvie on my shoulders through the fields. I will send her messages downriver in small boats, and I will watch her atop of the hill trying to touch the sky. I will show her my favorite place, the marsh, where ducklings follow their mother like tiny tumbles of leaves. All the places to love are here, I'll tell her, no matter where you may live. Where else, I will say, does an old turtle crossing the path make all the difference in the world?